What's good everyone, it's Steve from Sneaker Tech Talk, back with another video today. And for today's video, we will be doing a versus video on the Air Jordan 37s versus the Air Jordan 37 lows. So without further ado, let's get into it. As far as the traction goes on the regular Air Jordan 37s versus the 37 low tops, they're exactly the same as you can see here. A multi-directional traction pattern. These are inspired by the Air Jordan 7s. As far as the rubber compound, it is a pretty firm rubber compound, so I do think you could take these outdoors. They're not overly deep as far as the pattern goes, but as far as they performed on court, I've played about 40 hours in these so far and about 10 hours here in the low top, and really no wear and tear at all. As far as how they perform on court, on hard lateral cuts or forward motions, on clean or dirty floors, they will have you covered. I will just mention on dirty floors, you might have to give them a quick wipe because they do collect a little bit of dust, but nothing overly concerning. Your foot might slide just a tiny bit to a stop, but with a quick wipe, you'll be good for another 4 or 5 plays in the Air Jordan 37s. But as far as the traction setup on the Air Jordan 37s and the Jordan 37 lows, I would have to give them very much a thumbs up because I think you can use these for outdoors and indoors. They're great on multiple court surfaces. As far as the cushioning setup goes for the Air Jordan 37s versus the 37 lows, again, these are identical. You do have that Phylon material here on the lateral side and on the medial side. And then on the back of the shoe, you do have that Formula 23 heel puck, and it is fully caged, which I'm not a huge fan of in my opinion. But once they break in, they offer some pretty decent impact protection here on the 37 and the 37 lows. And then in the forefoot, you do have that extra large Zoom stroble bag, which basically runs the full forefoot of the shoe directly under your insole. So it's super bouncy and some pretty good court feel as well. And then there is a second bag that runs side to side. So you do have that double stacked Zoom bag sensation in the forefoot. In the heel, the Formula 23 does take some time to break in. Once it breaks in, it does offer some pretty decent impact protection. But I know I've said this before and I'll say it again. I would prefer a full-length Zoom setup in these, similar to the 36s, double stacked in the forefoot. I think that if they would have done that, it's tried and true and you really can't go wrong. But I know they are trying to push that Formula 23 foam compound, but it will be interesting to see if this does break down over time and kind of some of that impact protection goes away. But as far as the overall cushion setup, you got some pretty good court feel, impact protection, and once that Formula 23 heel puck is broken in, the heel to toe transition is pretty nice as well. So as far as the cushioning goes, I think it's a pretty solid setup in the 37s. I will just mention you do have to give that heel portion some time to break in, but let me know down in the comments if you guys have played in these yet and how you feel the cushioning setup is in the 37s versus the 37 lows. As far as the material setup goes, they do differ quite a bit actually. So at the top of the ankle collar here, you kind of have this neoprene padded portion here at the ankle collar. It is pretty free flowing, similar to the regular Air Jordan 7s from back in the day, so I think they did take some design features from that. And then basically everything below that is either this synthetic material here, like a synthetic nubuck, or that Leno-Weave material, which is completely see-through. It's more or less kind of like a fish wire, as you can see here. So it's completely see-through, very breathable, which I do like, and it's not very restricting on foot. So these will kind of conform to many foot shapes and sizes. So that's what you have here on the regular Air Jordan 37s. And then on the 37 lows, they do differ quite a bit. Again, you do have some synthetic nubuck here at the top of the ankle collar and at the back. And then you have some Fuzarans running up to the eye stay and down to the toe box. And then some more synthetic leather material. It's more of like a fused toe box for some extra durability and support. And then running in the middle of the shoe, you have more neoprene. So it's very soft, very breathable here at the tongue with all those perforations. And then on the side of the shoe, you actually have some Leno-Weave here on the lateral side and on the medial side. It's pretty breathable and you can see right through it. Very strong material in my opinion. And then right here, you actually have some more Leno-Weave, but it does seem to have some glue here Obviously that's for some extra support here on the lateral side when you're making those hard lateral cuts. So which one do I prefer? I would have to say I do prefer the standard Air Jordan 37s. I know a ton of people have been kind of crapping on this as far as the materials being cheap, but it's a performance upper, so it offers some great breathability and support. And I know that player on the Boston Celtics did tear through his shoe, but as far as the average hooper goes, I don't think you're gonna have any problems. So as far as what I prefer this setup right here. And they also have this material that's running underneath the Leno Weave here. So that's really gonna help for support as well. We'll get into that on the support features. But the materials, again, it's nothing premium, but I really enjoy it. And you can actually find these on sale right now for about 30% off on footlocker.ca. So for me, I enjoy the material setup on the regular Air Jordan 37s versus the 37 lows. So as far as the weight goes for the regular Air Jordan 37 versus the 37 lows, these are both a size 10.5. As far as the 37 goes, these come in at 15.1 ounces, and the low tops, I believe, they're somewhere in the 14s. So 14.7. So the 37 lows are just a little bit lighter, but in my opinion, that is expected because they are a low top basketball shoe. As far as the fit goes, that's another place where these shoes differ. This shoe here runs true to size. This is a size 10.5, and I have just a little bit of toe room here in the toe box, so really no issues. This material, it conforms to a lot of different foot shapes and sizes, so I really enjoyed that right off the bat. Basically no break-in time here on the regular Air Jordan 37s. Very much a one-to-one fit, which is very nice on foot. But with the low tops, they do run short and very narrow in my opinion. I had a ton of pain here on my big toe, so I think I just need to size up to a size 11. I will update you guys if I do grab a size 11 in the low tops, but for me, this shoe just did not work. I had a ton of pain in the forefoot. I think if you're a wide footer, you should definitely start with half a size up to possibly a full size, but I would say try them on in store if you can. But as far as the fit goes, I'm going to give the edge to the Air Jordan 37s. It's just a great overall fit setup for my foot shape and size. So again, size 10.5 in these caused me no issues at all, but a size 10.5 in these guys right here were just too narrow and restricting in the Air Jordan 37 lows. Then as far as support goes, they're more or less the exact same. You do have an internal heel counter on both shoes, and then you do have this heel puck caged portion here where it does run up just a little bit, so it is offering some extra lockdown at the heel on both the 37 and on the 37 lows. Again, where they're exactly the same is at the bottom of the shoe. That carbon fiber shank plate at the bottom is exactly the same. It's going to offer some great torsional rigidity. I did have my regular 37's carbon fiber plate crack on me just a little bit, but overall I think it just offers a great setup for torsional rigidity. The shoe's not overly wide, but it does flare out just a little bit here on the lateral side, kind of like an outrigger, preventing your foot from teetering over when you make those hard lateral cuts. And then your foot also sits ever so slightly within this midsole on both of the 37s and the 37 lows. And then the Leno Weave material on the 37s, kind of with this taped TPU portion right here, it's really harnessing your foot in on those hard lateral cuts, which is great on the 37s. And where it differs on the 37 lows is you do have these 4-foot stabilizer straps right here that kind of run over the top of your foot. So if you really crank down these eyelets right here at the bottom, it's going to wrap around your foot and keep your foot harnessed in on those hard lateral cuts. And then again, you have the Leno Weave material here on the lateral and medial side, and then that portion here that is kind of glued down. So more or less no issues for support on both of these shoes. I enjoyed both setups. My only issue was the fit on the low tops, but as far as the support goes, you really can't go wrong with the Air Jordan 37 or the 37 lows. So that's going to do it for today's video on the Air Jordan 37 lows versus the regular Air Jordan 37s. Like I said, I think moving forward, if I'm gonna grab one of these shoes, it's gonna be the regular Air Jordan 37s. I just really enjoy the setup for the fit, the cushion support, and I actually really like these materials. I know a lot of people have been ragging on that Lenoweave, but for me, as far as breathability and support in an upper, I'm not mad at it. So moving forward, I will be sticking with this shoe right here over the low tops. But like I mentioned, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, if you guys can like, comment, and subscribe, that really helps the channel a ton. And check out my Instagram over at 23MJ88, as it is an extension of my YouTube channel with all my pickups, basketball footage, and nostalgia as a whole. And keep it locked to the end of the video, as there will be an on-court portion of the 37 versus the 37 lows. But let me know down in the comments what you guys prefer. Did you guys prefer the 37s or the 37 lows? Let me know down in the comments down below. But as always, thanks for watching today's video, and until next time, peace.